So this is the Alan Turing Centenary, and it's been made possible by the Open Innovation Project, Edinburgh City Council, Scottish Enterprise, and European funding. I'm incredibly pleased to have such a distinguished panel of investors and entrepreneurs here today, and I hope that it's really going to be an enlightening session. Unfortunately, Brian Kirkhorn, who was going to be here giving this introduction, and it's really Brian who's pulled these chaps together from Stipso. He had a bit of an accident last night. He's fine, but he's not able to be here this morning. So before I pass over to Brendan Richardson, who's going to chair today, I'd just like to thank everyone who's made this possible. It's really been an incredible effort. It's a completely non-profit festival, and it's been powered by the local startups who've given me so much help and volunteers and everything you could possibly imagine. So I think a huge thanks goes to them, and actually the City Council too, who've really allowed a lot of this to happen. So, without further ado, I'd really like to pass over to Brendan Richardson, who's kindly flown in from America to be with us today. And Brendan can introduce the panel to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jamie. Welcome, everybody. Before I introduce the panel, I'd like to actually just get a show of hands so we understand what the makeup of the audience is here today. As you see from the agenda, this is going to be a lot of discussion about the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Scotland and how it's functioning or not functioning. So I'd like to just get a sense of who's would self-identify as an entrepreneur in the audience. Just show of hands. Who would self-identify as an investor or, okay, capital, and then other interested observers, parties, etc. Other. Okay. All right. Good. Pretty even mix. So thanks for joining us. We've got as Jamie said, we've got a distinguished panel. I'll introduce them briefly, and they're going to talk a little bit about themselves and some specific topics. But the bulk of this is going to be a debate and a discussion with you. So we're going to try and reserve most of the time for questions from the audience and a lively discussion, interactive. On my far left, Brian Caulfield, who I've known for many, many years. Serial entrepreneur who has gone to the dark side and is now a VC with a partner at DFJ Esprit. You're based in Dublin, but DFJ Esprit headquarters out of London. And you guys invest across Europe. Yep. Is that right, Brian? Yep. Next to him, Carlos Espinal, also a VC with Seed Camp in London, a micro VC. To his right, Nigel Eccles, who's probably familiar to many of you, the founder and CEO of FanDuel, fantasy sports website that is headquartered now in New York, but started in Edinburgh, and 32 people strong, and have gone through your Series B and looking at Series C now, correct? Yes, sir. And then on my left, Sam Collins, Firebrand, serial entrepreneur, and founder of Eventasaurus, right? Myself, I would describe myself as a recovering VC. I spent 12 years investing in startups, principally in Europe, and I realized that was folly. So now I work with startups and teach, but I still have a vested interest in seeing ecosystems work with entrepreneurs and figuring out how to activate them so that we get a higher output, higher throughput of startups, both in the US and Europe. So with that, I'd like to ask Brian to talk a little bit about ecosystems and how they function, and then we'll talk about that and then open it up for questions.